Welcome to the Customer Wins Podcast, where business leaders discuss their secrets and techniques for helping their customers succeed and in turn grow their business.
Hi, I'm Rich Walker, the host of The Customer Wins, where I talk to business leaders about how they help their customers win, how their focus on customer experience leads to growth. Some of our past guests have included Mark Friedenthal of Tolerisk, Tom Riemann of Practice Intel, and Tom Anderson of Anasova. Today, I'm speaking with Adam Dell, founder and CEO of Domain Money. And today's episode is brought to you by Quick, the leader in enterprise forms processing. When your business relies upon processing forms, don't waste your team's valuable time manually reviewing the forms. Instead, get Quick. Using our Form Extract API, simply submit your completed forms and get back clean, context-rich data that reduces manual reviews to only 1 out of 1,000 submissions. Visit quickforms.com to get started. I'm really excited to introduce today's guest. Serial entrepreneur and founder Adam Dell was most recently a partner at Goldman Sachs, where he served as head of product of Marcus by Goldman Sachs. He's driven by his passion for creating products that resonate with and fulfill the needs of consumers. Before his tenure at Goldman Sachs, Adam established 4 different companies: Clarity Money, which was acquired by Goldman, Message One, acquired by Dell, Buzzsaw, acquired by Autodesk, and Civitas Learning, acquired by Francisco Partners. Man, that's impressive. In an era where accessible financial planning remains elusive for many Americans, Domain Money, led by Adam, and tech powerhouse Joanne Bradford, and she comes from Honey, SoFi, Microsoft, and Pinterest, they're changing the game. By offering accessible, high-quality advice through certified financial planners, Domain Money alleviates financial stress with clear, actionable plans. With a flat fee model, Domain Money is focused solely on providing the highest quality, unbiased advice to help Americans live their best lives. Adam, welcome to the Customer Wins.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you. So for those who haven't heard this podcast before, I love to talk to business leaders about what they're doing to help their customers win, how they built and deliver a great customer experience, and the challenges to growing their own company. Adam, let's understand your business a little bit better. How does your company help people?
Yeah, at a very fundamental level, we help people create and track their progress toward their financial goals. It doesn't matter where you are in your life. Everyone has goals, and those goals are often tied to financial interests and your financial life. And so we help people put together a roadmap and a plan to get to their goals. And that's a very rewarding thing that I'm really excited to get to do for our clients.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know if you knew this, but I started as a financial advisor before I started Quick. And we actually built our own financial planning tool. We didn't have the plethora of tools that are out there today. What is it that drove you to say, I need to build this and bring it to market? Is it more accessibility? Is there secret sauce to what you're doing that nobody else is doing? I'm curious.
Yeah, well, I tend to gravitate toward solving problems. If you look at my career, I tend to look for some area of the economy that is not functioning as well as it could, and see if technology can improve it. And what is really clear about financial planning, particularly in wealth management and working with a financial advisor, is that there's a large segment of the population who feel as though access to high quality financial planning, in other words, a one-on-one relationship with a certified financial planner professional, is either inaccessible because it's too expensive, or it's structured in a way that misaligns the incentives between the client and the advisor. And I think that what we've tried to do at Domain Money is solve both of those things. Let me give you kind of a specific example. Most financial advisors utilize what they call an asset under management fee model, which is you're charged a percentage of your assets each year as a fee. And that's a broken system in that those fees add up considerably over the course of a lifetime. And really, it would serve the client much better if those fees were not taken out of their assets each year, but rather allowed to continue to work for the benefit of the client rather than the benefit of the advisor. So that's kind of one piece of what we're trying to solve. The other piece of what we're trying to solve is that, very few people really love their financial planning experience. We've talked to hundreds of clients of existing financial planners, and we hear the same story over and over again, which is, yeah, I meet with my advisor 4 times a year. They sort of go through where we are with our money, and they usually tell me about some new annuity or life insurance or investment opportunity that I can buy from them. And then they sort of send me on my way. And they don't really do much for me beyond that. And that's really not a great experience, right? And what we have architected and delivered is an experience that clients genuinely find delightful and useful. Our clients rave about the experience, and obviously I'm biased in my interpretation of that, but it's genuinely true that people love going through the domain money experience for very specific reasons. One, we've made the whole experience really simple. It's something that anybody can go through and walk away with. I know where I am. I have a good understanding of what my total financial picture looks like. I know what it is I need to do. So I have a specific to-do list of things to follow. And I know I have a person who is qualified, who understands me and my goals, who can help me put that plan into place and track my progress toward it. And that constellation of experiences, those 3 things I described, really delights people versus what they're used to, which is every time they get on the phone with their advisor, somebody tries to sell them something.
Yeah, that's you're right. And I'm glad you're talking about it from an experience standpoint, because you don't want to pay somebody to sell to you. It's like you ask a lawyer a question and then they send you a bill because I don't know. I had this once. They wrote a letter to ask me to do something and charged me for the letter they sent me to ask me to do something I didn't ask them to do. So you're right. That's a bad experience. And I also like what you said in framing it, that you're giving action items out of the plan, because I think it is nebulous to a lot of consumers where they're saying, okay, I need to save up X number of millions of dollars. Great. So just keep saving. What do I do?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 points there. One is, you don't pay a lawyer or an accountant or a doctor every year. You pay them when you need them.
True.
And financial planning should be the same way. And so domain money has a flat fee structure that enables clients to pay for what they need, which I think people appreciate. The other thing is what you said, which is we give people really specific to-dos. And the specific to-dos are a reflection of what they've told us their values are and their goals are. If they want to buy a house, if they want to take a vacation, if they want to save for college for the kids, whatever their goal is, we will give them a specific recommendation that fits within the overall structure of their life. There are a lot of people who do a great job saving. They've accumulated cash and investments. They're not really sure how to use those resources, where to allocate them, what's the most tax efficient way to do that. And we put all those pieces together for clients in a way that's really easy to digest and understand. Our plans are written in plain English. They say things like, Charlotte is going to go to college in 12 years. You need to set up a 2036 target date fund and put $640 into it each month to pay for Charlotte's education. And that level of specificity and simplicity is true for all the advice we give, whether it's retirement planning, tax strategies, college savings, buying a house. And that level of simplicity people really appreciate, because financial services are by design complicated. And And I say by design with a little bit of a smirk, because there's a reason why fees are embedded into your returns.
Right.
It's hard to figure out. You don't really understand it. Most people think, oh, 1%, that's not a big deal. 1% asset under management fees over the course of your lifetime is like giving your financial advisor a house,
Hmm.
basically. And that's just not a great dynamic for the client. And so we like that our incentives are aligned with our clients. We don't sell any products of any kind. We only provide advice. And I think that really just changes the nature of the conversation we have with clients, because we're able to present to them just the objective reality of a person's situation. Okay, guys, you make $280,000 as a couple. You tend to spend about that each year. If you want to save for retirement, here's what you need to do. And then we lay it out for them in very clear, specific terms. And I think people like that level of transparency and um, um, lack of bias.
So I want to clarify something. I mean, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, but Domain Money, you are employing the advisors. You're not sending a platform out to any advisor in the world who can use your technology, right? You actually employ the advisors.
That's correct. Yeah. All of the advice that you get from the Domain Money experience are from certified financial planner professionals. It's a designation that comes with a level of training and expertise required to achieve it. They're all full-time employees of Domain Money. We don't farm out our advice to third parties. They're all advisors who are part of the Domain Money family.
So then it sounds like you build an advisory firm, but also built on tech, because to build your own planning system, that's not an easy endeavor. And you're a product guy, so you understand that part.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. The thing that we've done from a technology standpoint is pretty significant. The first is go back to my point about simplicity. We really make it easy. We sort of give the client a way to define their priorities. Do you care more about retirement than vacation? Do you care more about college than the new house? And that ranking of priorities allows us to then formulate a set of recommendations based on the inputs and outputs, how much you make, how much you have, how much you spend. The other thing we've done is, for example, getting all of your financial information is a little bit cumbersome, right? You have your 401k, you might have RSUs, you might have equity, you might have a E-Trade account, you might have your Chase account. You have all these different accounts out there. We've created a system using technology where we give you a portal to log into. You can dump anything you want in there. You can take a picture of your credit card statement and we will analyze it and incorporate it into a holistic financial model for you. What does that mean, a holistic financial model? It means we look at all of your stuff and we distill it down into, this is your net worth, this is what your cash flow looks like, these are your investments, these are 3 different scenarios of how your investments might do if the market goes up, if the market goes down, if the market stays flat. And then we sort of boil that all up into a set of specific recommendations. And it's really quite simple for the client because all they do is dump everything into one folder, and then we magically produce a very personalized, again, to-do list that is aligned with the goals the client told us they most care about.
Wow. Because you're right. Collecting that data, that can be arduous. That's a showstopper for a lot of customers. They're like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to fill out your intake form.
The other thing is, if you went to any financial advisor and said, I want you to build me a financial plan and give me a specific set of to-dos, they would say, sure, we'll do that for you. But what they will end up doing is they use off-the-shelf technologies from providers like eMoney or Money Guide Pro, which are software solutions that RIAs typically use, financial planners typically use. And they spit out these kind of 60, 70 page cookie cutter, boilerplate, gobbledygook kind of reports that nobody reads and nobody understands. and again, kind of by design. They're meant to be overly complicated. They're meant to kind of overwhelm the client with so much information that they sort of say, well, I guess this makes sense. And then they go back to, having their lunch or go back to, their job and their normal day. And they feel as though, well, I think I did the right thing because I sought the advice of an expert and they told me what to do. The truth is that it's much more empowering if the client deeply understands where they are, what their priorities are, and how to set up a plan and track their progress toward that plan. That's just a much more effective route because you have much more buy-in. You understand it, right? If you understand how your workout routine works well with your body, you're much more likely to stick to it. If you have a financial plan that really resonates with what you believe your values are and are well aligned with your long-term goals, you're much more likely to stick to it. And if it's simple to execute and implement, you're much more likely to stick to it. Those are all the things we try to do in our financial planning.
So I think there's something really smart in that design, and I'm going to point it out to everybody, which is you have designed into your process of building your product and delivering your product a way to get clients to engage, want to engage, and fully engage so they have a reason to be there. And it's not a punishment. It's part of their process that they want to go through. So that engagement you're getting is actually driving the whole thing further to be more successful, which is a very intelligent product design and very hard to do, frankly.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple of specific examples. We have lots of clients who we deliver the following information to. You can spend a little more. You can take that extra trip. You are a great saver. You're a great investor. You have a little more flexibility than you might have thought. And that is a really delightful thing to be able to tell someone. So obviously we do it only when it's appropriate. But we have lots of clients who are really good savers and have accumulated lots of assets. And they are sometimes fearful to spend because they just don't know if it's okay. And we provide them benchmarks for people who are similarly situated, age, geography, stage of career. And we tell them, we say, hey, compared to your peers, you're actually doing a little better and you can afford to be a little bit more, reward yourself a little bit more with an extra trip or an extra thing that is of value to you. The other thing we do is we remove the mystery, right? There's a lot of people who feel like they have a vague understanding of how their retirement works, how their equity works, how their 401k will work, their IRA, their Roth IRA, their HSA. We remove all that mystery because we sort of lay it out in very clear terms, exactly how each of these instruments work toward your goals. We have something that is part of our service offering. We have 3 tiers of service: a one-page plan, a strategic plan, and a comprehensive plan. The one-page plan is really for people who are early in their career who just want like a check my work, make sure I'm on track. Is there anything I've missed? And we sort
of their
of
lives probably aren't that complicated yet. They don't have.
That's right.
Maybe they don't even have a house yet. They're just starting a 401k type of thing. Yeah,
that's right. And then the $7,500 plan is for people who are further along in their career. Maybe they're 45, they're 47, they have a couple of kids, they're starting to think more seriously about retirement. They have, maybe an Airbnb property or a LLC. They have a trust. It's a more complicated financial story. And so we are able to serve both ends of that spectrum with, again, a level of transparency and simplicity that people really delight in. I mean, we just went through a retrospective where we basically analyzed how we did for our clients. And so we interviewed many, many clients. We said, where did we do good? Where did we do bad? What could we have done better? What did you like? What did you dislike? Was there anything confusing? All those sort of things. And it was just, as the founder and CEO, so rewarding and so fun to listen to these these Zoom recorded calls because you could just see in their eyes how delighted they were with the experience.
Yeah.
They said things like, we got way more value out of this than what we paid. We really feel like we're on top of our money now, which is a great feeling. And we're confident in the steps we're taking toward our goals. And going back to your original question, which is, I think, quite smart to start with, just as the structure of your podcast, because at the end of the day, that's really what this is all about, is can we help people more than what we charge them, right? Can we genuinely deliver value to them such that they walk away feeling as though they really got enormous value out of the experience? And I'm really proud and delighted that that's what we've been able to do thus far, and we're just getting started.
So I love hearing this kind of success, but it brings up something in my head I got to ask about. A lot of this industry is built on the relationship that an advisor has with their client and the client has with their advisor. And the way that you describe domain money is a client can come to you, get this plan, and the plan is really driving the outcomes and the behavior, not the advisor relationship. Obviously, they get to work with an advisor. You haven't actually just explained, do they switch advisors year by year, or do they stick with the same one? But how important is the relationship side of this from your perspective, considering these outcomes that you're getting?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So just to be really clear, you get the same advisor, you work with the same advisor year over year. It's one person, they're your advisor, and that relationship is important. They have a nuanced understanding of your priorities. And I say nuanced because it is that way. There may be a year where renovating the deck is more important to you than retirement because your family gathers around that deck every afternoon in the summertime, and that is really important to your family and your extended family. And so that priority in your life needs to be understood in a way that is deeply human. And so the relationship between our client and their dedicated advisor matters a lot. What we've been able to do using technology is to eliminate a lot of the grunt work that just takes a lot of time to figure out and process, allowing our advisors to spend more time with their clients, actually working through the nuance of that decision between renovating the deck this year and doing something that's longer term in nature as a goal. And that, I think, our clients really appreciate, because everyone is special in their mind. Everyone's financial situation is unique in that their priorities and their values are informing those decisions. And our advisors are, extremely well trained in understanding, oh man, the overwhelming feeling of the second kid coming and thinking about saving for college, while all you really want to do is just take a break and go on vacation,
get some sleep for once.
go on vacation for a week, is the complexity that is inherent in how people think about actually managing their lives. And that is, deeply tied to the relationship between the advisor and the client.
So that actually points to something that I loved about my mentor. And when I joined him in his financial planning practice, he would always say, and by the way, he was from IBM, so he was a computer guy. He would always say, I don't trust the plan. I'm not going to stick to the plan. I'm not going to trust what the computer says. I'm going to look at this and use it as a tool to gauge, am I helping my client go the right path, make the right decisions? And it's very much like, I'm going to drive 1,000 miles. I'm going to look at a map. I'm not going to look at it once. I'm going to look at it at every milestone that I need to look at it. And so that relationship you're talking about is, I think, paramount. So I'm glad to hear it. It's not just, hey, we have this great tech, come get your plan. It's, we've got the whole service behind it, and this is our model that helps us be special. I'll let you react to that, but go ahead.
That's exactly right. I mean, plans are things that evolve and change as time progresses forward. And our plans are designed to accommodate for that and anticipate that, right? So we make recommendations. Okay, this is what I think it makes sense for you to do this year. This is what I think it makes sense for you to do next year. in terms of your retirement contribution. But in any given year, as life unfolds, your plan needs to be able to adapt and evolve, and you will adapt and evolve. We have lots of clients who say things like, "We're earning a lot more money than I thought we would," or my parents' medical expenses are more onerous than we had anticipated they would be. And so those kinds of unanticipated twists and turns along the way are really normal and common. And that's why our plans are designed to change with you as your life progresses. And your advisor who's dedicated to you will be there as your plan, changes and progresses. Very important.
But not necessarily charging for every year that you don't need that plan to be reassessed.
That is the key, in a way. There are a lot of people who are at a point in their lives where if they set up the correct financial plan, they max out their 401k contribution, they contribute to their IRA, they're consistently setting aside money each month or year toward specific goals like a house. That can set them up well for 12 months, 24 months, even 36 months, barring any meaningful change in their circumstances.
Right.
And so why pay an advisor every year for essentially no change in your plan? What we find with our clients is they call us when they need us. Parent passes away, they inherit money they didn't think they were going to get. Okay, time for an update to your plan. Let's reimagine this based on your new circumstances. New baby's coming. We didn't think we were going to have another baby. We're having another baby. Okay, here's what we need to do to change your plan. I am amazed that people, as many out there that do, I'm amazed how many people pay 1% asset under management fees each year for a service that they really don't need to pay for every year. To me, that's an illogical thing to do. It's a poor use of precious money,
and time.
And we at Domain Money believe deeply, as part of our ethos, that ongoing management fees are, for many people, not all people, but for many people, not a great use of your resources.
Yeah, or equitable to what the planning service is actually providing.
That's right. That's right.
Adam, let's shift gears for a second here. You've mentioned a lot of things that your tech is doing, and I'm curious on your perspective with AI. Are you using AI? Do you have plans for AI?
We do. We use AI extensively. We have a number of different AI models LLM models that we rely on, that do a lot of the grunt work. So a lot of the documents that we ingest, we use AI to extract the salient information. How many shares of NVIDIA do you have? What's your basis? What, all the things that go into inputs that make up the financial model, we use AI to extract that information. And so we have found a lot of efficiencies in plan preparation, which is something that is time consuming and needs to be done carefully and needs a human involved. Our financial planning process is not entirely done by a machine. There's absolutely financial planners who dive deep into how much did you spend on transportation, how much did you spend on school, how much did you spend on Amazon, how much did you spend on groceries. And we take all of those inputs and formulate our plans out of that. We use AI for the pieces of it that don't really require nuance and judgment. It's more about just raw data extraction. And over time, as AI gets better, we'll start to use it for other things. But today, it's mostly for that.
Yeah. All right. That makes sense. Man, I'm going to have to wrap this up, but I have another question. And before I ask it, what is the best way for people to find and connect with you?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can send an email to me at adam@domainmoney.com, or you can go to domainmoney.com and look at our services and see what we do. And I would encourage you to read our client reviews and testimonials. We have on our website. The thing I'm most proud of is honestly our Net Promoter Score. I'm sure many of your listeners are familiar with the concept of a Net Promoter Score. It's a measure of how satisfied they are with the service.
Right.
The technical definition is how likely are you to refer this to a friend? And, on a scale, I've never heard of a Net Promoter Score as high as what we have. And at first I thought it was an error, but we've sort of double, triple checked it many times. And, our current Net Promoter Score is 100, which I know sort of sounds absurd, but it's auditable and true. Over the last 30 days, our clients gave us a score of 100. And I'm just super proud of that. And so I encourage you to go to your listeners to go to our website, check it out. And if they want to send me an email, my email address is adam@domainmoney.com.
Adam, we're in good company. I feel the same way you do about talking about NPS because ours has been 100 quite frequently and over the past year. The average is like 84 over time, which is exceptionally high. To me, it's like you. I'm like super proud that this is how our team is working and how our company is being perceived. But I have a hard time believing we actually have a score of 100 because it's just unreal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not usually
congrats.
that high.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my last question. Who has had the biggest impact on your leadership style and how you approach your role today?
So as I think about your question, there's a couple of things that come to mind, which is, I don't know if you're a parent. I'm a parent. Each child is different, right?
Right.
I only have one child, but I've heard from others who have parents, or excuse me, who have children, that each child is unique, and what they need is unique. And that sort of feels true to me around the various startups I've been involved in. Each one has needed different things along the way. And I make the analogy of children because I really do feel that way about my startups. I pour enormous amount of energy into them and care deeply about the people involved, the shareholders, the clients, what we're trying to achieve. My name's kind of on the door, so I care a lot about how well we do for our clients. Take all that very personally and very seriously. As it relates to Domain Money in particular, I've been deeply influenced by Joanne Bradford, who is our president. She comes to us by way of SoFi. She was the COO and CMO at SoFi, and she has a personal passion for financial planning and bringing financial planning into the light. And what I mean by that is making it more accessible to all. And in the same way that you should go to the dentist twice a year, everybody knows that. That's not something that's up for debate. Mm-hmm. Everybody needs a financial plan. And the ethos of making that just something that you do is really at the core of what we're trying to achieve at Domain Money. And her leadership around that approach has really influenced my thinking and how we've architected the business. So I give her a lot of due credit for that leadership ethos and instilling that in what we're doing at Domain Money.
No, that's awesome. And it does take that, right? Because everybody is going one way. You have to have that person who's saying, we got to do something different. We got to make this part of who we are to make it different too. That's really great. Well, look, I want to give a big thank you to Adam Dell, founder and CEO of Domain Money, for being on this episode of The Customer Wins. Go check out Adam's website at domainmoney.com. And don't forget to check out Quick at quickforms.com, where we make processing forms easier. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. We'll click the like button, share this with someone, and subscribe to our channels for future episodes of The Customer Wins. Adam, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Customer Wins podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.